on. Is the opening on?
It's on.
You're online. You're live right now.
You're live. Good on.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Independent Producers Live Showcase. Independent Producers Organization Live Showcase. There, we'll get it right here. And we have a call from CAPS in California. Californians for Population Stabilization. And he's been to a seminar or whatever it was. I want him to tell us in Washington, D.C. And so, Joe, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself first.
All right. Well, good evening to you, Richard, and to your listeners. Joe Gazzardi. I've been involved in analyzing and writing about immigration for 30 years, and I would say that I've seen a lot in those 30 years,
Right.
Richard, and was back in Washington, D.C. During most of the month of October, meeting with people in Congress and doing some lobbying and getting up to date on all of the most recent developments in immigration. And as you know, there's been a lot of them, ranging from refugee resettlement issues to amnesty talk about deferred action, amnesty for dreamers,
Right.
and a couple of other amnesties that are floating around there. So it's been a busy time.
Yeah, that's right. I see those are in the news too.
Well, it's been the big DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, has been the big issue now for, well, since Trump took office. You'll remember that when he campaigned, he repeatedly promised that he was going to end DACA on day one. And he didn't end it on day one. He didn't end it on week one. He didn't end it on month one. And it just kind of lingered and lingered. And finally he announced, I guess about 6 weeks or so ago, that it did have a final date. And ever since then, it's been an enormous uproar over what Congress should do, and I have to say that I blame Trump for this. I mean, if he had done what he promised to do, which was end DACA on day one, certainly there would have been outcry over that, but it would never have reached the fever pitch that it's at now, because over all of the months that he failed to act, you know, the pro-DACA lobbyists and the legislators in Congress that favor continuing deferred action had the opportunity to gather their resources and to strategize. And so here we are today, only 10 months into President Trump's first term. He ran on enforcing immigration, and what do we have? We have a situation where Congress is talking about amnesty, which he certainly promised there would not be, and we have a situation where Congress, under President Trump's administration, can't repeal and replace Obamacare, are having a hard time coming up with a tax cut plan,
That's right.
but are seriously found to be more in agreement on amnesty than on either of those two issues. So the optics of this are very, very, very bad. And I would just warn Trump and the Republicans in Congress that if they fail on Obamacare, fail on tax cuts, and pass amnesty, they might as well pack up their suitcases because they're not coming back in 2018.
Joe, do you think the Congress people and senators understood what you were trying to tell them in regard to overpopulation and that kind of thing, and immigration?
Well, we've been on that for a long, long time. And the one thing that President Trump has made clear especially in the last month or so, that he says he will not sign any kind of a deal for DACA or for Dreamers unless it has the RAISE Act in it. And just for your listeners that may not know what the RAISE Act is, that's spelled RAISE. That is a bill that was introduced in the Senate that proposes to cut immigration levels in half, legal immigration levels in half within a decade, and to replace chain migration with a merit-based immigration system. Because, Richard, from a population perspective, the family-based or chain migration system has really, really helped to explode population growth in the United States. You know, it's a system that says, okay, you can come in and then you can bring your siblings, and they can bring their siblings, and eventually those siblings can bring their siblings, and you end up with a single immigrant who comes to the United States petitioning directly and indirectly for dozens more people. And it just, it's just a killer population-wise. And the interesting thing is that, the United States accepts immigrant A, so we know who that person is, and they've gone through the legal process and so forth. But by the time you start to get down the chain, nobody knows anything about those people except the person that's petitioning them. So in other words, you bring in, you petition for your adult son, and then he petitions for others in his wife's family, for example, and basically the immigration system then is in the control of the family members and not the United States government. So it's a bad system. It was bad when they created it in 1965, and it's just something that has to be brought under control. They're talking about, this is not CAPS that came up with these figures, but the U.S. Census Bureau and the Pew Research Center predict that within the next 40 years or so, there will be 25% increases in population nationwide. So in California, for example, we would go from 40 million people to 50 million people.
Right.
Now, the same is true in Oregon. Just imagine Portland with 25% more people, or imagine Los Angeles with 25% more people. It just simply would be a nightmare, really, if it were allowed to go on. So that Trump says that unless he gets the RAISE Act, he would veto any amnesties for DACA or Dreamers. But the thing is, Richard, and we have already seen this with Trump, you never know. You just don't know what's coming next.
Could you?
For example, he promised to end that DACA amnesty. I would have bet anything that if he didn't end it on the first day, he would have ended it on the first week. But he didn't do it.
Right.
So you just don't know. You just don't know with him.
Right.
So we're apprehensive.
Could you define that Raist again, R-A-I-S-T.
Okay. R-A-I-S-E for easy, raised.
Raise, okay.
Okay, so what that would do is over 10 years, first thing it would do is it would eliminate family migration, chain migration,
Okay.
and restore it and replace it with merit-based immigration. So if you wanted to come to the United States, for example, you would have to have had education, work history, perhaps some English language skills. So, you would be, in other words, you would be somebody who would be ready to contribute to the U.S. economy immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately. The way it is now, somebody brings in their grandmother who, we love our grandmothers, but the reality is that the grandparents are at advanced ages, relatively advanced ages. They're not going to make any economic contributions to the United States.
Yeah.
And they're much more likely to be users of services than contributing to the tax base that pays for those services. So anyway, it would get rid of chain migration and focus on merit-based migration. The second thing that it would do is it would eliminate the diversity visa. That's been in the news a lot too. The New York terrorist that ran over the 8 people about a week ago, he came to the United States on what's called a diversity visa.
That's right.
And what that is, essentially, is a lottery. You just, there's 14 million people, 15 million people all over the world. They put their name in this lottery, and 50,000 people are chosen completely randomly. Completely and totally
Can you turn it up a
randomly.
little bit, Jim?
Now, that's as stupid as you can get in terms of a way to decide who is going to come to the United States and who is eventually going to become a United States citizen. I mean, there's no lotteries to get into Stanford University. There's no lotteries to give out driver's licenses. Why should there be a lottery to determine who's going to come to the United States and get a green card and citizenship? That's the most coveted prize in the world. U.S. citizenship is something that everybody wants, and to just give it away randomly is completely ridiculous. So that's the second thing that the RAISE Act would do.
Okay.
First, it would cut out chain migration and replace it with merit-based migration. The second thing is that it would eliminate the diversity visa. And the third thing that it would do is it would reduce the refugee resettlement totals to about 50,000 a year, which is the historic level. Obama had it up there at about 110,000 a year.
Yeah.
Historically,
That's right. Uh-oh.
Did we get it? Still there?
a good thing.
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, that's that's
Okay.
the summary. You asked me about the RAISE Act, and
Right.
those are the 3 major things that it would do.
All right.
Can I ask you a question? This is Bruce now, okay?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, good. I was going to ask you, as you were going around and talking to the various folks on the Hill, were you able to get any kind of feedback from the folks who originally offered that whole policy and were part and parcel writing that up and putting those guidelines out and the rationale, and did you talk to those folks as if to say, well, was it working? Was it not working? And those kinds of things. Did you see those kinds of folks when you were there?
Well, yes, good question. I'm glad you asked it. The two senators, the two United States senators that introduced the bill are Tom Cotton, who is from Arkansas, and David Perdue, who is from Georgia. And I was in their offices, and I talked to them about it. And, you know, they realize that it's going to be tough. Or at that time, they were speaking in terms of it being an uphill climb because, you know, let's be candid. The United States Congress, and especially the Senate, is very cautious about moving on any immigration-related legislation. So at the time that I saw them, they were saying, well, you know, they're going to have to do a good job of selling this bill. I mean, we know that the Democrats, every single Democrat right straight down the line in the Senate is going to be opposed to that bill. And the Republicans, you know, they're only so-so on reducing immigration totals. But since I saw them, Trump has said repeatedly that he wants that bill included in any immigration-related legislation. He was on the Laura Ingraham show, I'm going to say about a week ago. And I would say, he said that he wanted that bill at least 5 times. He was on for maybe 5 minutes, and he mentioned that the RAISE Act by name and said that he wanted it in there at least 5 times in the brief 5-minute period that he was with Laura Ingraham. So, of course, once he puts his weight behind it, it greatly improves the chances that it would pass. But it's going to be a struggle to get it. It's going to be a struggle.
Especially with all these sanctuary cities and states and all that.
You know, I mean, that's just... Now, Portland and the state of Oregon are not well, Portland is a sanctuary city, but the state is not officially a sanctuary state. Is that pretty much where it is?
I think it is.
Maybe it is.
Maybe it is a sanctuary state now.
Or maybe the
It is.
immigration people just think it is. We don't know for sure. But we know the city
Yeah,
is.
right, but effectively, it's a sanctuary state, right? I mean, whether they go all out and do what California did and pass legislation that makes it a sanctuary, I mean, honestly, that's just very hard for most people to wrap their heads around. You know, that the local jurisdictions don't want to cooperate with immigration and customs enforcement just defies logic. And, you know, polling shows, even in California, polling in California and polling nationwide, something like 85% of people think that local jurisdictions should cooperate with immigration and customs enforcement. I mean, why? What is the deal with releasing convicted criminals? And then, you know, certainly we know in California that many of these people go back and commit similar crimes that include murder and other violent crimes. You know, we're right in the middle here in California of the Kate Steinle trial, and it's just a really grim and awful reminder of what can happen. You know the story, right? This young woman is walking down the pier in broad daylight in San Francisco with her father, and she is shot dead by a guy who had been deported 5 times and convicted 7 times of felonies, 7 felony convictions and 5 deportations, and he was released, even though ICE had asked the San Francisco sheriff to hold him. So now I ask anybody out there who is in favor of sanctuary cities to explain that to me, to defend that to me. It's just not defensible.
That's right.
Now, who would be there's always a thing at the end deal. What about the beneficiary in terms, who benefits? Who benefit?
When these people come into this country,
yeah, who's the beneficiaries?
they are.
What about maybe
And that
farmers?
includes they're getting on welfare, taking millions and millions. It's around $54 million or $54 billion that they're costing the United States taxpayer to have all these people in here. It's huge.
Yeah, well, to the question of who benefits.
Right.
Now, do you mean who benefits from immigration or who benefits from sanctuary cities?
Immigration, and also sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
You're saying both? Really,
Okay.
both?
Well, I mean,
okay.
Yeah, the people who benefit from more immigration are, first of all, of course, the people that come illegally. You know, they benefit. I suppose they benefit. Let me qualify that. Some of them benefit because they come to the United States and they get a job and you know, they collect services. They put their kids into school, and for the most part, they're pretty sure that they're not going to be deported, so they benefit. Now, there's another group of immigrants that are trafficked into the United States, and they are exploited. And probably, if you were to ask them after they've been in the United States for a period of time, working under exploitative conditions, they would probably say, you know, this was a mistake. But that gets to the other point, that the beneficiaries are employers. Right. You know, people that benefit from cheap labor. So you've got, like, for example, in Los Angeles, we've got the garment district, and you've got a bunch of people living or working in the garment district, mostly Asians, who have been smuggled into the United States, and they're working for $4 an hour, you know, so they benefit. As far as the sanctuary cities go, you know, the only beneficiaries there are the criminals when they're released. You know, they're set free, and that's it. So they benefit, and to a certain extent, the advocacy groups that lobby for more immigration benefit, because they say, well, you know, this is a victory for us, and it has been a victory for them. You know, the groups that promote higher levels of immigration, so those would be like the Mexican American Legal Defense Fund and organizations like that, the American Civil Liberties Union, I don't know, a couple of others like that. They say, well, you know, hey, this is a win for us. We've gotten these individuals out of jail, and we've kept them out of immigration and customs enforcement hands, and we've protected them from deportation. So for those radical groups, it's a big win. You know, the problem here, again, I mean, I lay a lot of this on Congress. I mean, this is something that should have been stopped in its, you know, at its beginnings. So when people started to say, when cities like Los Angeles and New York and Chicago started to say, well, we're a sanctuary, we're just not going to we're not going to cooperate with ICE. They should have, and they still could. You can arrest those people. Failure to comply with immigration laws is a felony that is punishable by fine and imprisonment. So in theory, right, in theory, the federal government could go to the Los Angeles mayor and say, you know what, you're under arrest.
Yeah, that's right.
That could be done. The other thing that they could do that wouldn't be quite as dramatic is they could just have a permanent ICE enforcement brigade in Los Angeles and just pick up people, just in mass, virtually in mass, or at least routinely,
Right.
and arresting people and putting them into deportation proceedings. So you'd be arresting them before they got to jail. Illegal presence is an arrestable offense. They could do that. But, again, it's much better than it was under President Obama. ICE has been much more active. There's been
right.
many more arrests and many more people put into deportation proceedings than there was under Obama. But
as a result of Trump getting
if you're
elected.
going to be fighting the sanctuary cities, you've got to do the other now. Which is just arresting illegal immigrants at a higher pace. Now, I fully expect. This is one of the things that I learned back in Washington. There's going to be a challenge, a legal challenge, to California's sanctuary state law. And I suspect that the whole sanctuary state business is going to end up in the Supreme Court. Because it's very clear, if you read the statutes, that local law enforcement has to cooperate with immigration customs enforcement. That is, you don't have to be a lawyer to understand that. You can look it up and you can read it. Anybody who's got sixth grade reading ability can read that and see that that's what the statute says. So that's going to go to the Supreme Court, just the way that all of these other things, or many of these other things that Trump is trying to do, is going to go to the Supreme Court. The refugee issue will end up there, and that's just the way it is when you've got these two opposite forces: the Trump administration, which wants enforcement, and the local jurisdictions that don't want enforcement. What I don't understand is what the local jurisdictions get out of it. I mean, what does San Francisco, in what way does San Francisco benefit from releasing criminal aliens into the public? I mean, they don't benefit, but they're dug in, They are dug in. Just like, that's the same case in Oregon, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes, the governor and your United States senators and the local mayor, the mayor of Portland. Wouldn't you describe him as dug in on sanctuary cities?
That's the problem. That's the problem.
But then it's the politics too. When they get in, they get in on that particular platform. You see, because that's the resignation, that's the resignating, if you will, a position, if you will, of the people, supposedly. And then so consequently, when they run for office, that's all part of the packet. See?
Okay.
As opposed to asking people who run for office, we've got a problem. What do you bring to the table to solve the problem?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
You see, they just leave it alone.
Exactly.
And they just get in, and then say, okay, fine, so just let it be. And then you can't find the people who basically signed the orders to do that. It's just gotten sort of like another culture.
Yeah.
It's like another culture, and we end up, in all due respect, the taxpayers are paying quite a bit. The hospitals, in all due respect, the hospitals benefit because they don't have to worry, because in this country you can just walk in and say I'm hurting or I need operation or whatever, and they take care of you and they send the bill to the government and they pay it up. And then if we have to pay more taxes, guess what? It comes back in the form of whether on your mortgage payment, a whole bunch of stuff. So it's really sad. You just can't find. We need to discuss its origin, what was its purpose, and what was the results. And you think our neighboring country, in all due respect, Mexico, I mean, they don't have that kind of a program.
They want to make sure we can't come in there.
No, they don't. I mean, that's a good point that you just made about it becoming the culture. I mean, it just kind of it just gets started, and like sanctuary cities, it started out there's one or two cities, and then the next thing you know, we're seemingly overnight, we're where we are today, where there's 350 sanctuary cities. Now there was a race for governor yesterday in New Jersey, and there were the two candidates. There was a Democratic candidate who was all for sanctuary cities, and his opponent was the sheriff of a large New Jersey city. I can't remember now which one. And she ran heavily as opposed to sanctuary cities. But, she lost.
That's right.
And in situations like that, you have a hard time understanding. Now, I don't live in New Jersey, and I didn't follow the race every day, but I'm just going to guess that she didn't effectively make her point. And the point is that more immigration and certainly sanctuary city policies are bad for everyone. Okay? They are bad for everyone. So if you are a Hispanic immigrant, even a Hispanic illegal immigrant, more immigration is bad for you, right? It brings in more people who are going to compete with you for the job that you may have. It is going to make the schools that your kids go to more crowded. It is going to make the city that you live in less livable because there's going to be more people competing for more services.
Right.
Rents are going to go up. Those are the points that you've got to make. And I don't know why Republican politicians or anybody seeking office wouldn't make those statements regularly. You just can't argue against that. I mean, what you can say, and what a lot of immigration advocates say as well, the diversity thing is good. We're a nation of immigrants. More diversity enriches our society. But, that may well be, right? That may well be. But specifically, you cannot point to a specific thing that you can say, well, immigration makes my life better because of A, B, and C. Trump once during his campaign, he may have said it 1,000 times, but I only heard him say it once.
Oh.
He said, he said, tell me what all of this immigration, tell me in what way all of this immigration helps you, Richard, your listeners. And,
not at all.
Right, not at all. Not at all.
No.
So, you want to get all emotional about diversity and more immigration, we're a nation of immigrants and all of that stuff. Well, okay, but the specific answer to the question, in what way does 1 million legal immigrants every year make your life better? And the answer is, Richard, what you just said, not at all.
That's right.
So, what we've got here is
You know, one of the things I like to throw on the table in regards to the origin aspect of it, I remember when this almost began. You know, when you start thinking about it, we were bringing in migrant workers to come and pick up the fields.
That was
one time.
normal.
And that was a business. You know, people would just bring them over in a bus, right? And basically pick up the crop. And then take them back when the crop was over with.
That's right.
Okay, and it was a corporation between the United States and Mexico. Okay, and then all of a sudden, like you said, and all of a sudden, it's let's say the farmer, for instance, was picking up the berries. You know what I mean, getting the berries and peanuts and this, that, and the other, and making the jelly. And all of a sudden, it said, "Well, gee whiz, I want to raise the price of jelly." I want to raise the price of jelly, but I don't want to pay more for labor, right? You got me?
Okay.
And so I got the money, and I got my person in. I get them. Say, look here, I'm lobbying. Gee whiz, I'm paying too much here. You know what I'm saying? You got me?
Okay.
You know, how can I get more people here on my crop? And so the folks say, well, gee whiz, why don't we just ease up the laws and whatever, and just then all of a sudden ease up the laws from the standpoint, you know, the conditions that they're living in and whatever, they can spend the winter. Now all of a sudden spend the winter. So consequently, folks start just leaving the farm, and just going in the city, and just staying. And then all of a sudden you can't find them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what Joe talks about.
Yeah,
you can't find them.
You can't find them, and then they're all over the city. In all due respect, and most people who it doesn't affect their pocketbook immediately, they don't say anything, because for all the folks who are working and getting the bucks and paying their rent, they say, oh well, gee whiz, look at all them folks on the street corners and whatever. Just as long as they don't come to my house, I'm okay. Got me?
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, Joe, they say, well, gee whiz, you got all these folks out there that can't speak English and this, that, and the other. Well, guess what we're going to do? We got to teach them Spanish. So all of a sudden, you got all these signs on the buses and this, that, and the other to accommodate the person. And I'm saying, I can't speak any Spanish.
Right.
I mean, you know, we just kind of got so lackadaisy, and then it got out of hand. Because in all due respect, Joe, I can't blame that person more than I can blame the person who got us there in this situation to begin with. You got.
Okay.
They talk about E-Verify. They talk about E-Verify, and trust me, you got to be. I mean, it's kidding. They got E-Verify, and half their workers, are illegal. And then you can't find the document. They got all illegal documents and whatever. So they just file the paper, and there's nobody there to audit nothing. There's no auditory system whatsoever.
No.
You got me? So we done got to a point now nobody want to touch it. In fact, most of these politicians nowadays are saying, hey, what I want to do is that I'm just trying to figure out how can I take the money I got and just get out of this government stuff without being convicted. See? So I just got to keep getting my $1 million a year.
There's this one city or area back in, I don't know, Wisconsin or somewhere like that, where Somalia people have come in to that city, and they have just bled the welfare system dry.
Yeah.
They've just destroyed the city almost.
Yeah.
Because there's so many on it.
Right.
And
the city you're thinking about is Minneapolis.
Okay.
Yeah. And where
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
And Joe, where they came from, they were comfortable. Their culture, they were comfortable. I mean, they might have they weren't eating steak and this, that, and the other, but they were living and they were satisfied. They had their livability aspect of it. Okay. And then all of a sudden they come into this kind of arena and say, well, gee whiz, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to worry about medical. I can eat like I want to. And,
that's right. Medical, everything.
And now the new culture we have in this country is called homelessness.
That's right. That's our new culture.
Folks have lost their homes.
In the city of Portland.
Americans have lost their homes. They've lost their foods, and the next thing you know, they're looking at the cupboard. The cupboard's gone. And
well, that's very true. I mean, down in California, I mean, in Los Angeles, the homeless population has skyrocketed, and the big thing now in California, Governor Jerry Brown, they keep on talking about shortage of affordable housing. Well, okay, I mean, if you're allowing hundreds of thousands poor Mexicans and Central Americans to walk across the border
Right.
and come to Los Angeles. Those people need places to live,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
And they cannot build fast enough to create, you know, low-cost housing. So what they did here about a month ago, the California Assembly passed 15 bills that are designed to accelerate new home construction, new apartment and home construction. And most of those bills bypass any impact, you know, environmental impact
They don't-
studies.
yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
go on ahead and start building.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Get rid of the
just
regulation.
crazy.
Yep. And then who picks up the tab? Who picks
Oh,
up
sure.
who picks up the
Yeah.
tab for the building? You see what I'm saying? And they call it, like you said, low cost housing, home ownership, right? You got me?
Right.
I mean, that's the nature for a productive kind of environment, to look at a point that you've got home ownership. But what they're selling now is not really the home ownership is really shelter.
Right.
That's what they sell.
Yeah, exactly.
They're providing shelter,
Exactly.
and the developers are not saying anything. They say, "Fine, we'll build them, but on your dime, and you give me my money." That's
Right.
it.
I wanted
Yeah,
to,
exactly.
Joe, I wanted to cover something, of course, overpopulation is really what we're all about, and
Oh, yeah.
especially that's my thing. That is affected totally by immigration. But remember,
Absolutely.
I asked you what your thoughts were if we came to a point like 20, 30, 40 years from now where we're running out of oil, water is a real problem, and then what is that going to do to people? You remember when gas was short in '73, that was people were pretty mad. They would say, "I want my gas. I want what's entitled." And so what's going to happen when we are going to be out of gas and oil, and water is going to be a problem like it was in California?
Yeah.
I think
That's an excellent point, and that's what we're trying to do, is to alert not only politicians but people, you know, to say, hey, look, you know, there are going to be shortages of oil and other resources. You know, we saw it with water in California. There were 5 years or so of drought, and then extremely good fortune, you know, record rains over the winter. So now people are saying, well, you know, okay, well,
Not a problem.
we don't have to worry about that anymore. But Richard, like you say, we do have to worry about it. We have to say, hey, look, according to the Census Bureau, in the next 30 years or so, assuming everything remains the same, meaning birth rates and rates of immigration, there's going to be, I think it's 450 million people in the United States. Right now, we're at 325 million people.
right.
So, you know, how is that going to work exactly? You're going to have an additional 125 million people, and they are going to want to be able to buy gas for their cars, to drink water, to have the kind of life that Americans have grown accustomed to. And that's just not going to be possible. So that's what we're trying to tell when we go around and talk to Congress and talk to, you know, just our friends. Say, look, hey, this is a problem, but you know, people don't want to hear about it. It's a gloomy kind of a subject, and they'd rather think about almost anything else than overpopulation. But it is absolutely going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You know, when I was born in California. It was a long time ago, but there were 10 million people in the state. And now there's 40 million people.
Yeah.
And we have pictures in my family scrapbook of my parents and my sisters and me on the beach without another single person in sight.
Right.
Pictures of the house that we lived in with maybe 3 cars parked on the street. And now, I mean, it's awful. It's just terrible.
I just can't.
What's it
believe
like up there in Portland?
all the cars that I see all the time, they're just everywhere. And we are picking up,
Yeah.
111 people every day, and not anybody going away. This net gain, 111 people. And they're wondering, there was an article in the paper today about housing shortage. They didn't say anything about being overpopulation and that less people would solve the problem. They just, oh no, we got to figure out how to keep building more and more and all that. No one really wants the truth. And
Well, I mean, one of the congressmen that I spoke to said what we hear a lot. I mean, the United States cannot solve all of the world's problems.
Right.
And what I say is, look, why does the United States have to be the country that takes in all of the people from Mexico and Central America? Why can't Panama take a few people from Mexico that want new lives? Or why can't Costa Rica? Those are countries that have high economic opportunities. Let Costa Rica take a few people. But, it's only really the United States is really the only nation in the world where people can just not only come into the country and start collecting services, but almost immediately upon arrival, demand, hey,
right.
you got to give me amnesty, you got to give me a driver's license,
right.
you got to give me welfare. I mean, that's
Social Security.
that really, that's a little much, don't you think?
But Joe, but it's not their problem more than it is the people who are just saying it's okay to give it to them. See, that's the point.
Yeah,
They're also part of the problem.
Yeah, they are the problem.
Agree with that.
Yeah, they are the problem. See, but nobody's challenging that part of it. And Joe, the point I'm going to is that, like you were saying, that like the race, the race in New Jersey and for the governor's race and this, that, and the other, there was an R and a D aspect of it. But my point is that they were just basically philosophizing and not really asking who's running for office, what are the issues, and what do you bring to the table to solve the problem. They weren't even talking to that. You got me? It was just a debate. Trump was basically representing Fox, and CNN was on the other side, and there was always that debate.
Yeah.
You got me? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then anybody could
No,
run.
I mean, I agree. I agree. The issue from where we want to see it is enforcement. The immigration laws have got to be enforced. Now, there was a time when they were enforced.
That's right.
I mean, for example, Bruce, the program you were talking about a little while ago, where the Mexican workers could come and work and do the crops or whatever they were doing, and then they went home, right?
Yeah.
They went home. That was the Bracero program,
Right.
and it was very successful.
Right.
But over time, as you pointed out, they stopped going home.
That's right.
And what happened was the politicians were comfortable with them not going home.
Right.
So, and then gradually what happened? Well, okay, they're not going home, so we've got to make sure that they have driver's licenses because, without driver's licenses, they can't get to work. Well, what should have been said is, hey, you're going home and you're not getting a driver's license because it's not legal for you to work in the United States unless you're have a visa that allows you to work, or unless you're a citizen. So, but gradually all of that became just something that wasn't done. Internal, you need interior enforcement. You need somebody to go around to the workplace to say, okay, let's, who are you? Show me your paperwork. And don't be showing me any falsified I-9 form. I want to see something, I want to see something that means something. And that brings us to E-Verify, which we haven't talked about much yet tonight, but that's essential. That's just,
it is, big time.
That's essential.
Big time, Joe.
Did you want to cover that now?
Sure. Yeah, E-Verify, well, it's a program. It's a popular program. It's
not enforced.
what it does is you go, the way it has been for years and years is you go in to apply for a job and you fill out an I-9 form, right? So you could put down that you are Clark Gable, living at such and such an address with such and such a phone number. And the employer takes it, and that's the end of it. Well, now with E-Verify, what you're going to do is the employer will, the first thing that happens is that they hire you. E-Verify does not go into effect until after you've been hired.
That's right.
And the reason for that is because that way nobody can say, well, you discriminated against me because you think I'm Mexican, or you think I'm here illegally from China or something like that. So after you're hired, you go to your employer, and your employer takes the Social Security number that you give them, and he checks that Social Security number with the Social Security Administration. And they also check it with the Department of Homeland Security. So they're going to find out if, first of all, if your Social Security matches up, the number that you gave them matches with the number that they have at the Social Security agency, and then they're going to check and see if there's any if there's any immigration holds on you or anything like that. So once you get E-Verified, then the once you get an answer back from the agency that processes E-Verify applications, which is the Department of Homeland Security, they're going to say, okay, this guy is good to go, right? So, okay, the employer knows, hey, I'm fulfilling my legal obligation to hire citizens and legal immigrants. I'm okay. Now, if it comes back for whatever reason from the Department of Homeland Security, it comes back and says, well, something's wrong here. The numbers don't match up. So then you get 30 days to resolve the issue. So, for example, let's say you just got married and you're still using your maiden name or you haven't changed your name with Social Security or something like that. Or you made a mistake when you put the numbers of your Social Security card down. You get 30 days to resolve whatever the problem is. And if you haven't been able to do it in 30 days, the chances are you're not legally authorized to work in the United States. So it's very effective. So the question is, okay, why isn't this law? E-Verify has been around, and it actually passed the judiciary committees twice, but it was never brought up for a full vote. People see that Congress is dragging its feet on E-Verify, and they say, well, are you telling us that you would rather see illegal immigrants get jobs than American citizens? That's really what it says, isn't it? If Congress won't pass the bill, why won't they pass it?
Okay.
Well, I mean, I can't answer that.
All right.
I don't know for sure, but it's been around for 15 years. E-Verify has been around in one form or another for 15 years, and it hasn't passed yet. There's an E-Verify bill in the Senate, all right, in the Senate. Right now, there's only 11 United States senators that have co-sponsored it, 11 Republicans.
Oh,
So what does that mean? I mean, you know, it's discouraging to think that a bill.
they don't understand the overpopulation aspect. In the end, that is the real problem. It's not even just immigration. It's having too many people. The Earth can't take it.
Well, think about it now.
Yeah,
Again,
right.
But then think about that, Joe. Like
Yeah.
you said, you went through that process. I heard you. But when they go through that whole piece, by the time you verify, said yes or no, that's 3 months down the road, right? You got me? Okay.
Now,
And then, approximately, let's say 3 months down the road, then the person gets, okay, fine. Okay, then you can leave. You don't have to worry about anybody arresting you. They can just go right next door and go through the whole process again.
Well, right. I mean, they can the way it is now, but
Yes.
but what
Yeah.
what the intention of the bill that's under discussion is that E-Verify would be mandatory. You know, employers have to use E-Verify. Now, there are a lot of employers that do it. You know, Costco does it. I don't know if you guys go to Costco or not, but I'm sure there's several Costcos in Oregon and lots of them in the Portland area. They E-Verify their employees. And, you know, they don't have any trouble finding workers. In fact, Costco's a good job. They pay a good hourly wage, and they provide medical benefits for their employees. Even their part-time employees get medical benefits. So that job absolutely should go to an American. And at Costco, it does go to an American because they used E-Verify. But, you know, like we've been saying for the whole hour, Congress is just wishy-washy on this. You know, I mean, E-Verify, that should be a slam dunk in Congress. It guarantees that only United States citizens and legal immigrants that have visas, you know, that's a whole other problem that we can talk about, probably not tonight, but next time. You know, they just got to. Why doesn't it pass? I don't know. I mean, the only way that you can explain why it hasn't passed is that, as far as Congress is concerned, they're perfectly happy if illegal immigrants are working throughout the United States, and if there are millions of unemployed or underemployed Americans, they're content with that. Is what I take from their failure to pass E-Verify legislation.
Joe, I guess we're kind of at the end, and we're going to have to take a break, and this would end this program, this part, and it has been fabulous having you call in and going over this information
well, thank you so much. Yeah, next time we'll get into some of these employment-based visas, which are really a nightmare,
Let's
too.
do
But
that.
thank you very much for
Yeah.
All right,
having
Joe.
me on your show.
It was a pleasure.
Okay.
Best to you and to your audience.
Okay,
care.
and we're going to put
Thanks
up our
again.
replay times and
Thank
all
you,
that.
buddy. from the standpoint. Okay, I guess we're back, Rich.
Right.
Okay, good. Well, we had quite an hour. We had the opportunity to talk about the whole issue of well, all kinds of things: immigration,
Right.
overpopulation,
Mostly immigration, 'cause that's a big part of
population. And you know what's interesting about the kind of feedback we were getting from him from California.
Right,
And-
because
and-
he's
and-
done it for 30 years.
And right there in California, the neighboring state.
Yeah.
You got me saying?
Oh,
And now
yes.
we are seeing the impact of it here in Portland. And then we got Oregon, and then you got Washington.
Mm-hmm. They keep coming up.
They just keep coming up aspect of it.
That's right.
And we notice it here locally from the standpoint of the number of people that are on the street, and they're homeless.
That's right.
And I'm talking about, in all due respect, I don't see that many Mexicans on the street.
You
You
know,
ever see that?
what I heard the other day is 4 out of 5 of the homeless people are not from here.
That's right. That's right.
Imagine that.
Well, 4 out of 5.
4 out of
Well,
5 are
right up
not
front.
from here.
But a lot of times, but in all due respect, they are not, in all due respect, Hispanic, or you know what I'm saying? I.e. the folks that we're always throwing out there up front from the standpoint, the illegal immigrants, the undocumented workers, and this, that, and the other. You got my point?
Okay.
A lot of folks that are here, in all due respect, there are some people that are still living in their house about 1 foot on being homeless.
Oh, yes. Oh,
You understand me? So we got a problem. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
And in all due respect, you know, how can you talk about low income housing if you can't pay the rent? You see, they're reacting to the whole homeless issue as if to say, you got people out there, we just build a low income housing, and these folks can just move in and pay the rent.
Mm-hmm.
They can't pay the rent. That's why I said that it's a misnomer. We should be addressing the issue of sheltering folks. You know what I'm saying? Shelter. We need shelter. You know,
Okay.
we need shelter. And what is the definition of shelter? The definition to me, it's talking about getting folks off the street. You know, netting them out, finding out who's on the street,
Yeah.
and then give them temporary, if you want to say temporary housing, but it's sheltering. They need shelter, okay, to get out the increments. You know what I'm saying? You got me?
You know, it's funny. I hear these people, some of these people, rather than going to certain types of shelters,
Yeah.
would rather be in a tent.
Yeah, because
really
and that's right.
Unusual preference.
But we've allowed that to happen. See, we used to have a law that says you couldn't do that. You
Oh,
got me? You
okay.
get arrested, got me? And guess what they would do? They would take you to the institution and vet you, clean you up, you know, give you 3 meals a day for a day.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? You got me?
Oh, that-
And give you a little temporary job, and you might get minimum wage, but you know, you pay restitution, but you're there. You get medical, you get free medical.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And that worked. And now I'm saying they don't do that anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I really think that to me could be one of the solutions. You know, the key is that, and I've always said it that way, pick the folks up because they're still human beings, right? You get
Oh,
it?
yeah, right.
Get them out of that environment because in all due respect, the kind of conditions that they're living in
That'd be good.
is an unsanitary situation to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
So you got folks that are coming out, now they're going to the restaurant and they're using everything and this, that, and the other. So it's a very healthy, an unhealthy kind of a situation.
Or Fred Meyer's or
Yeah,
Safeway
just
or
go in.
whatever.
A lot of these folks, you know, go in there and go to the restroom and take baths in the restroom and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
When they get out and you throw them out of there and they'll go under a tree or something like that and, you know, do this, urinate at night, sleeping in the middle. So my point is that get them off the street.
Okay.
Because when you put them in there, what happens? We have a sheriff system here, Multnomah County Sheriff. They're the ones that are the jailers.
Okay.
They jail. The police officer is the one that basically policing the law enforcement. They pick you up if you broke the law, right? And then you take them to jail. Now, let's say, for instance, if you got a capacity, let's say for 100 people, and all of a sudden you get to 150 people, you know, you got some extra people there. Where do you put them? They'll say, well, okay, fine. That's the job of the sheriff to find that temporary housing, if you will, somewhere.
Okay.
They got to house them somewhere, right? You got me?
Right.
And then a lot of times under the old system, they would say, okay, fine, I need about 10 more beds. They'll call the next county and say, hey, look here, you got extra 10 beds, and I'll pay you to rent those out to you. I mean, to these folks. I need 10 beds.
Okay.
So they'll basically send them over there to them, and they'll put them up. But my point is that everybody's off the street. You got me? And then one starts working about, well, where are they going? If they're in need of a job, or they this or they that. It worked.
Okay.
But now it's kind of like they don't even respond to that. I mean, I'll just be upfront with you. That's one of the reasons why I was kind of like looking at the idea of running for office, because I'm looking for some answers. I mean,
Okay.
I'm saying, hey, Sheriff, you call the guy up and you say, look, I'd like to talk to you about. He's not available. You call.
If you're in office, there'd be a better chance of reaching
Oh,
him.
he called in because I would demand that. See, because no, as far as I'm concerned, under our system here now, we went through that situation where the sheriff, Multnomah County Sheriff, all of a sudden there were some issues that he was having, and it was an elected position, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, let me say, was he elected? Was he elected? Yeah, he was elected position. Then there was consideration was being given and said, okay, fine. He would be basically the sheriff department for Multnomah County would be just like the city. I mean, they would be assigned. The mayor or let's say the county commissioner would assign the person, would pick the person.
Okay.
The sheriff. You see what I mean? So they basically become a part of the responsibility of the chair, or someone along that line. One of the committees or one of the commissions, right?
All right.
You got me? Well, we don't have that. The function we have over here now, that the person runs through an election aspect of it. You got me?
Okay.
Goes through an election aspect of it. So now he's got his own thing. The commissioners meet once a week
Okay.
to communicate with the people.
All right.
The sheriff doesn't have to meet once a week.
Oh, all right.
The
That's
sheriff
right.
should be there. See, the sheriff should be there. He should be in a seat, especially now talking this whole issue of homelessness. You
Maybe
got
we
me?
better have him come here.
Well, he won't come. He said he don't have to come. He's elected.
I don't know.
He's talking to meetings. He got to go to conferences and things. But maybe we call him. You can call him.
Yeah.
His name is Reese. I mean, his name is Reese. He was a nice guy. He was a Portland police officer at one point in time.
We've interviewed the Portland police officer.
Oh yes.
The head one. What do you
Yes.
call him?
Yeah,
Captain or
The chief of police.
During the time when they had all the tents down in the park place, when that's all there was down there.
Right.
Occupy. That was out.
Yeah, right. But the idea is that all I'm saying in this almost a word, I think it's inhuman to keep folks out there like that, men and especially women, okay, and their kids and this, that, and the other, and just let them just stay out there in the open. So it's not their fault. As far as I'm concerned, it's the responsibility of the people who are elected to office, because that's why we elect them. To i.e., hopefully they have the answer, right? You got me?
Especially for the women.
Especially for the women.
And
See what I'm saying?
children, yeah.
So, but they're out there.
Okay.
You got me? And we're still, and right now, what's happening now? Everybody's still discussing and squawking one way or the other. Say, "Oh, I got a better idea than you," and then let's set up another committee and we'll talk about that.
Okay.
And then let's do this, and let's talk about that. And then all of a sudden, when the real hard weather comes up, folks are out there, somebody dies, and everybody wants to get excited about what do we do for the little quickie, right? You get me? And still got the problems. See, so I'm just saying, I think one of the solutions to the problem is we got an election right now. I think what we need to do is that we have an opportunity, because the city has to work with the county, and the county works with the city.
Okay.
The city actually picks them up, and the county actually houses them, as far as law enforcement, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
As far as the folks. And so we got some positions that are open. We got the city, we got people running for city council. We got 2 seats open for city council, one of which,
That's right.
remember that, we got one, and Dan Salzman is basically he's not gonna run again. So he's basically just out of it.
Joe, she's
And Joe,
the lady.
which one is that now?
Well, she was head of
Joanne
NA.
Bowman. Joanne Bowman for
Okay,
NAACP.
okay.
Yeah, she's running.
Okay.
She's running. A number of folks are running. There's
She's
gonna be
good.
There's
She's
going to
good.
be a crowded race there. There's going to be about
That's right.
10 or 15 people are going to run,
Well, when you-
comparable to the mayor. Remember what I'm saying? You got me?
When you have a good person step down, that opens it up.
It does.
all
It
of a
opens
sudden.
up. But hopefully this time around, what we can do is make sure, and that's part of the application process, filing to run for office. I think what they should do, on an undue respect, they should have a situation where, as far as the filing to run for office, let's say they're running for the city of Portland, the office, they should cite specifically, we got 4 major issues facing our city,
Okay.
and we want you to respond to that in the filing aspect of
Okay.
it.
All right.
You got me?
Okay.
And then hopefully after we've done that and the people file and whatever, there's at least a committee that vets that.
Okay.
It sort of checks your background out. Not necessarily you have to done that, but at least you have some sense of. And by the way, and you come up with also a solution of some sort. You come up. This would be my solution, even if it's rough. You got me?
Okay.
But have some idea that you can respond to that issue.
All right.
You got me? Then once you've done that, then once that's done, maybe you got 5 or 10 or whatever. Then it goes to. What my point is that everything goes to the committee, and they select and vet that stuff and put these things out. And say these are the people that's going to run. They all responded to the issues.
Okay.
You got me? They've got their solutions, right? You got me? And that's the run. So then when they get out, they're basically talking to it. They can debate. They can come on the shows like us and whatever. Well, you said that you responded to this issue this way. Well, can you expand a little bit more on that?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Got me? Then we can meet the person, right? You got me?
That's fine.
Because you got to have some leadership position. Because otherwise, you can basically say, well, I got enough money. I'm going to hire myself a consultant. To respond to the issues, right?
All right.
You got
all
me?
right.
But if you got this committee to check it out, you got a resume, you know what I'm saying? Can you show me your resume and whatever? And we're going to have a debate and this, that, and that of a deal. You know, can you handle this deal? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I think that's just a thought that I came up with in terms of trying to whittle it down, because a lot of folks are just saying, look, I'm just going to run. It just cost me $30, so what the heck? I'll go in there and I can sit down there and yell about things and this, that, and the other, and whatever, and feel good about it. You got my point?
All right.
But that's what our needs are. We got to solve these problems.
Okay.
You got
That's
me?
right.
We got to solve the problem. I think it's not right to be telling homeless folks that, guess what? We're going to give you a home. We're going to give you a place. We're going to give you low income housing, without saying, okay, fine. Well, how you going to pay for it?
Or what are you going to do?
Yeah, what you going to do
Yeah.
to pay the
That's
rent?
right.
You got my point? As opposed to saying, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to build up low-income housing, and we're going to let you have this deal, and we're going to give you some welfare pieces over here to pay the rent. To pay the rent for maybe
Yeah.
a year or 2 years.
Okay.
You got my point? And then at the end of 2 years, you're supposed to have a house. I'm going to get you motivated. So you're motivated to get okay, so then the person gets there 2 years and say, now if you're making this amount of money, that a percentage of that will go to the deal. Now, you know how anybody smart say, well, gee whiz, this is good rent. It doesn't cost me anything. So I'm going to go to the maximum deal. You got me?
Okay.
And then I'm working for maybe minimum wage, let's say $14 an hour. $14 an hour now, right?
Right. That's
Got me?
probably close
okay.
enough.
Yeah, $14 an hour. Okay, fine. Well, then where are you staying right here now? You're gonna go over here because you got to pay. Oh no, we want to keep the subsidized house. I'll just keep paying $14 an hour. You got me for the place that I'm living in.
That's right.
But then now, after you get to the point you're making $30 an hour, $20 an hour, then your rent has to go up. But nobody call. They don't call back and say, "Look, I'm making this much, and I want to pay you. I want to pay an extra $10 or $20 a month." See?
Yeah.
You got me? There's nobody checking, no vetting.
Right. Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's happening because realistically, when you think about the city of Portland right now, you got the Housing Authority of Portland, right? Mm-hmm. And I've always thought about that in terms of okay, you got a person looking for housing, they're hurting or whatever, and I call it input to output.
Okay.
When they go and apply on the front end, and you're on the front end, they say, okay, fine. I mean, I'm barely working minimum wage. Well, okay, so okay, fine. You meet criteria. Okay, fine. You come in. We'll teach you how to maintain the house. Make sure you clean the place up, all that kind of good stuff. And then after a certain period of time, you have to find a job. Mm-hmm. And then that slot opens, and you go out after a certain period of time. That opens up the door for someone else to come in. You see? That's a process deal, right? You got me?
All right.
And in some cases, they may say, well, okay, fine. You'll go from this situation because you're minimum wage to this situation over here where you're making, say, $16 an hour. You got me?
Okay.
And then you work for a while, and then you go over here. But my point is that it's a system that works because there's a flow.
Okay.
There's no permanent housing there.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
You're in a renting condition. When you get down to the point that you figure, well, I've been working for 5 years now, and I've built myself some credit, then you can say, well, I think I can go and apply for a loan at a bank and buy a home. Mm-hmm. But we don't have that kind of motivation within the system. To me, that's a major.
Okay, that's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Part of the problem.
And so I think that's the kind of discussion we need to have. So consequently, we're looking for people that are in the management kind of a position, if you will, and understand what that flow is. You get me?
Okay.
And putting some systems in there to make sure, as they talk, well, I'm gonna put a system here to make sure that person has to verify the fact we know exactly how much they're making. Maybe they're either saying, okay, fine, let's say on a monthly basis, I want to know where you're working.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask that employer, you got to bring me something back that employer will say, this is how much you're making a month.
Okay.
You got me? And on and on and on. Because, and I bring the issue up, when you got those high rises and whatever, and when they make the point about they're supposed to identify so many low income
Yeah.
for that housing, like downtown Portland and that, the back brand new situation. Well, the person might be making $20,000 or $30,000 a year, so whatever that minimum deal is, and then the next thing you know, they done got raises. They're making about $70,000 now, but guess what? They don't want to move,
Yeah.
and nobody's checking the books.
Right.
See what I'm saying? No input to output, right?
That's right.
See, because what we're doing, we're subsidizing the total rent. Maybe the rent might be his rent, or that person's rent might be $300 a month,
Okay.
but the owner of the building is charging $700 a month, and then the government picks up the other $400.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? You got me?
Oh,
So,
all right.
but if he makes a certain amount a month, then he should be picking up the whole $700 a month. Got me? But he
Okay.
don't say anything.
No, not if
Nobody checking. If you got a buddy, somebody say, look, or if not that, look, man, I don't need a raise.
you're okay.
Buy me a car
Okay.
and just send that number down there. You see what I'm coming from?
Right.
See,
Okay.
So we don't have a system. We don't have something that talks to that. I mean, I've heard some things, and I've even heard some questions that were being asked when they were being interviewed by the city or something like that for the Housing Authority of Portland. But they just keep talking over one another and this, that, and the other. But I'm still seeing people that are living better, making $60,000 and $70,000 a year, and living in low-income housing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. But,
They could actually go out on their own and rent, but they don't want to leave town.
okay. That's.
Oh, you get the point?
That's
See,
fine.
So that's something that we really need to look at, because we need that input to output kind of a situation.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
See, if we're telling developers,
You got a point.
If we're telling developers we want you to rent, put 10 units in there for $200 a month, well, that's $200 a month. But that's not an ongoing basis forever for the person, right?
Have them just
At a
stay
high
there
rise.
1 hour or
Yeah,
something, one year. or
Yeah,
whatever.
right. But he's got to be out and be definite about it. But you got to check the person.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Because people like that, hey, I'm living in good condition. I mean,
That's
people
right.
don't even know I'm homeless. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm this, that, and that. I'm having a ball. Get me?
Okay.
See? So I think that's something that should be on the table. One,
Okay.
Okay. Another one is the whole issue of when I think about as far as the homeless is concerned, we got to clean the streets up.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that, let's say if you got a jail, you picked up a whole bunch of people, right? So that's the homeless aspect of it. And they just leave the garbage out. They just leave the garbage out, whatever, right?
The garbage is a real
Isn't it?
problem.
So guess what? The folks who are in the institution right now today, you got me, who maybe did this and that, but they're there, right? You put their uniform on, you take them in the truck, and you clean it up.
Okay.
They'll be on the crew every day in the morning. They get out there in the morning and clean up.
Okay.
You got me? You see what I'm saying?
All right.
There's no wait time and stuff just hanging all over the place and this, that, and the other. Get me?
Okay.
Whoever, if you sitting up there doing that crime, Pete, let's say after we give you a bath and clean you up and check you out medically and this, that, and the other, you're on a work crew. You might start talking about, well, we're going to pay, and the reason why you're going to do that work is that you got this much time. We can talk about things about we'll give you this much time. You're going to work out here. First off, you're going to work for room and board anyway.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So you're going to work.
Right.
You got me? And for a certain period of time. Then anything beyond that, you can volunteer. Fine, we'll pay you minimum wage, but you still pay minimum. One point you'll pay room and board and this, that, and the other, but you'll still have a few more bucks
Okay.
that we'll put in your bank for you. You got
Okay.
me? For future. But something like that should work, because how can you teach a person or get a person to respect the low-income housing, brand new housing, when I just took you off the street and you got stuff just spewing all over the place, and you doing this and this, that. They can't take care of that home. There's a responsibility that goes into to living in a situation
That's right.
and respecting folks and whatever. That's that input to output piece. See,
Okay.
see,
I think you've got a particularly good vision
Yeah,
of
yeah,
what you're talking
yeah.
about.
And all I'm saying, just
you've really
share it.
thought about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
That's
Big
good.
time. But the housing there, we need to get up there. And the same thing with the drugs thing. Look, we just can't keep putting these people in a deep situation. You got a lot of mental illness folks down there.
Mentally
they need
ill,
housing.
on drugs.
They need housing. The mental illness. Once you basically have identified that person as mentally ill, there should be a facility that person should go to get the help. Because a lot of times it talks about medication.
We used to have one.
Yeah, right. We used to have one up there in Lake Oswego. It's called Damage. Remember that?
Right,
You know?
right.
But developers came out there and lobbied and got that out of there. Now they're on the street.
Oh,
See?
okay.
See? So we need one. And the reason why we need one, we're talking about opioids now with all the pills that everybody's
That's
getting.
right.
But guess what they do when they get the pills? They sell them.
Oh, okay.
See, they sell them. You've heard of the cuckoo's nest aspect of it. You have to actually, when you pick up the pill at the little doorway there or whatever, you had to take that pill right then and there
Oh,
and swallow it.
okay.
I'm just saying. But my point is that all I'm saying is that we just can't keep giving folks that kind of. That's not helping them out at all. That's not helping them out at all.
right.
And
Not-
even with
none of the opioids.
And then the whole issue with the needle stuff. We got to get away from that. It's not good for them.
And
That's inhumane.
they leave them all over.
But it's all about the money.
That's right. That's
It's all about the money. And so my point is that we need to really look at that and look at what that's all about and just cut that piece off and maybe generate some other monetary situation over here.
okay.
Say, okay, fine. If in fact you're going to be doing the administering of the needle and this, that, you're doing it in a hospital kind of an environment thing, under a controlled environment.
Okay.
But none of this deal about you stick your own self, got me? You know what I'm saying? You
I don't
get
know
out
how anybody can do
and they're
that.
selling the needles out there. Well,
If I had diabetes,
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
probably have to
yeah,
do it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But my point is that, see, but they get out there and they get in that culture aspect of it. You get my point?
Okay.
And, hey, you're sitting in all this mess and whatever. Well, you want to just get high just to so that you don't have to worry about it. And you can
Okay.
sleep in the mess if you're all high and you this, that, and the other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then when you get up, hey, gee, I'm all dirty. This,
Still
that, and the
there.
other, and I'm dirty. So what I'm going to do, well, gee whiz, well, how do I get out of this mess? Oh, let's see. Oh, I'll just go down to the local store, steal me a chicken or something, or a steak,
oh,
and say, look, rest me. I go down to the institution.
okay.
I get a good bath, right?
That's
Get good clean clothing, right?
Can they get that on the
Yes.
street now?
Yes, they do it right
Right.
now. I mean, look. In all due respect, think about it. Think about it, Rich. If we go out right now, and we let's say go in the store or something and just take something, the manager will call up the cops. Cops will pick you up, take you down, book you in. Book you in.
Okay.
They'll give you some clothing. They tell you take a bath, and they make sure you take a shower. You
Okay.
get a shower, you do the whole 9 yards, as you say, shit and shave and all that, shower and whatever, do that piece aspect of it, get some clothes, assign you a rack, right?
What more could you want?
I mean, check you out medically, because they're not going to let you live in that environment, from that environment, if it's not a good, clean area. You got to be clean. They're going to clean you up first.
Incredible.
And if you got mental illness, they'll just put you in a cell, if you will, to a certain degree, so they got some containment. You can't just. They got a stationary stool there, a stationary bed. That you can't kill yourself routine.
That's right.
And then if you all of a sudden you start throwing feces all over the place, but they got a hose that'll clean that stuff off. The drain just goes down. You see what I mean? You see what I'm saying? But the mental illness stuff, that's a very serious thing. Those folks need to be taken care of. Okay.
That's really mentally ill.
That's right. And then those folks over here, they say we committed the crime, we're there, and we left the place over here all messed up and whatever. And then guess what? We're on the clean crew the following day. We're on the clean crew
Okay.
in a uniform, the orange uniform. You got me?
All
Tennis
right.
shoes, cleaning the place up.
Okay.
We don't need a contractor to come and clean it. Because the contractor's going to cost you 100 times more. See, got me?
All right.
They got to have hazardous, wasteful stuff and all kinds of gears just to, the contractor, right? And you ask yourself the question, we give a contractor the criteria to pick up that mess there, right?
Okay.
And the person who just left the mess was in it every day.
They didn't care.
No, yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got me? And there was no motivation to care for it.
Yeah, that's right. That's
See,
right.
that's the key. So I don't blame them totally. Get me? I'm over here on this end.
Well, they're going to have to suffer the consequences.
That's right. And we're not. And you're not killing them over here. You say, hey, you're gonna take a shower. We're gonna clean you up. Got me?
Okay.
And the next day, we're gonna get you to go out on the work crew. Now the sheriff does have a work crew. Now you see them every so often on Marine Drive and things of that nature, picking up paper and stuff and whatever, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, if they can pick up paper and stuff, they can pick up all this trash off the streets.
Their stuff.
Their stuff.
Right.
And then you go downtown in certain areas, like an Old Town and whatever, you go down there and you smell urine all over the place, right? Well, in the morning, I could see some inmates with some wide hoses off the meter, right? Washing it down. Washing it down before daylight, if necessary. See what I'm
Boy.
saying? But my point is that we're not thinking along that line, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And then when we get running and lobbying and with this, that, and the other, the media gets involved. They're asking questions. Well, they don't know anything about that. They may be asking something about something, whatever. You know, well, gee whiz, well, where do we get the questions? Well, call up the administrator and you got some questions you can give us that we can ask them. You understand where I'm kind of coming from?
Right. Okay.
See, so I think we need to really seriously look at
Okay.
developing some sort of a format that we're going to get some results out. Get me?
Okay.
If
All
we
right.
if we're going to deal with the homeless thing, okay?
Okay.
And we need to define the definition for that entity right there. It's called shelter. It's not called homeless.
Okay.
I mean, not home, low income housing. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? It's not housing. It's shelter.
Okay.
There's a difference between sheltering and housing.
Right. Okay.
See, my mindset of housing, it talks to responsibility.
Okay.
Being responsible enough to pick up the stuff, clean it up. You know what I'm saying? You're not just throwing stuff out the window and stuff and throwing stuff out in the yard. And this,
Yeah,
that.
that's right.
Because that's what that's all about. Home ownership is all about, right? You
Okay.
get me? And that's the difference between shelter and whatever. But they're not talking shelter. They're putting low income housing over here, and then it's like as if they're addressing the homeless arena. That's not the case. The homeless situation is at the input, after the input over here.
Okay.
With the Housing Authority of Portland. See, they've gone through the process. They've learned everything. They should have the count. They should be able to say, we got so many people that are housed here. So many people are going to be getting out at such and such a time. And so when the person comes in to put in a permit to build something, they have some ideas of what the needs are.
Oh.
But they just building up housing, and a lot of times with these housing, they may be responding to
Sure doing it now.
oh, it's big. So that's
I'm amazed at all the housing that's going on,
Yeah.
apartments and
Oh, yeah.
everything. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
amazing.
But those are the planners. See, but if you ask the planner, where are you gonna get these people? Well, we just bid it on a new manufacturing place over here, and we can get this manufacturing here.
Amazon.
Yeah, something like that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, along that line, and then when you get into that level, it gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
The housing. See, then you got to talk about the education. So that's all part of the planning aspect of it.
Yeah.
How many kids are graduating? I mean, we got Portland State there. How many folks are in engineering and this, that, and the other to be able to pay for that deal, right? Because the developer's saying, look, I want to build this high rise and have so many units, and
Okay.
et cetera, et cetera. And then he goes to the bank and says, well, look here, I'm doing this because I got so many houses. That business over there is going to provide this much. I mean, you see what I'm saying? You got me? And then the other little, but what about the people that are unemployed? See?
All right.
So the planner should be talking about, okay, how many people we have in the Housing Authority of Portland? What's their job classification?
Oh, okay. Okay.
See? Well, we may need this, we may need this, we may this kind of this, the other. And those are the kinds of folks you want to attract to come into the city to create jobs.
Okay.
Create jobs, okay? So so I think that's that's a very critical area. So we got, like I said, we got folks running on both sides, and you know, sure, my intent is to want to run. I want to run, if you will.
Yeah. Okay.
But my plan is very simple. I'm looking at the people who have filed, or who are saying they're going to run, and I want to look at their resume.
And what their chances are you being able to beat them, or
Right. No. My thing is that if there's folks that have filed to run for office that can show me that they can respond to the issues that are on the table,
okay,
hey, I'm fine.
leave them alone. Okay.
My job is just to try to push the issue to the table where you will answer the question.
All right.
Just like I said, when we bring them over here, you and I sitting up here, or if not that, if I'm running, then you're asking us the question, but you're asking us the same question to share it with the public as to how, you got three people up here, you say, they say the moon is red, how do you get it blue? You know what I mean? That type
Okay.
of thing. Okay?
The same
And then the people are seeing this stuff and saying, okay, fine. All of us are trying to figure out, well, how's it going to be blue, right?
Okay.
But that's what I'm putting it in sort of a simple terms, but the idea, that's an issue.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The moon should be blue, not
Okay.
red. Okay, that's the issue.
We'll get
See?
that straightened out.
Yeah, see, just like the homeless. Okay, fine. Just like you asked the question, we were going through the process, right?
Okay.
Well, you do the same thing. We do the same thing. So if homeless is an issue, what's the deal? If mental illness is an issue, what's the deal? You got me? If senior citizens are an issue, because a lot of folks don't realize that the baby boomers now have retired, if you will. Got me?
Okay.
And a lot of them are not going to have enough savings to stay in their own homes.
That's right.
And then they're basically going to be looking at homelessness.
And now with all these new
They can't afford
bond
it. They can't afford.
issues.
Yeah, they can't afford. See,
That's what-
And so here we got a situation. Now we got a situation, and then their kids are graduating from college, right?
Yeah,
And the employers want young folks.
that's
So
right.
Beforehand, they can't stay there anymore and be stick around on the job routine. They got to go. The employer said, "No, you got to go. I got to get your kid to work."
Yeah, that's
See what I'm
right.
saying? And then the kid is sitting up there. He's trying to have a wife and with his family and this that, and the other. So he's struggling a little bit, trying to figure out how am I going to pay this rent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right?
Okay.
I can't take care of mom and daddy. Got me? Or daddy. You know what I'm saying? Got me? So he got to go into housing over here.
Okay, that's right.
You see what I'm saying? So it's really something. But we can think this thing out. I really do think we can think it out. But we got to be realistic about what we're dealing
What
with.
we can do. Yeah.
What we can do.
Sure,
See,
sure.
you can't say put a person who is in a homeless situation on the street ahead of a person who's not
Yeah,
for home ownership.
that's right.
Shelter over here, but not home ownership.
Yeah.
Not and then you call it low income housing. And then quote the bill is still $700 or $800 or $1,000 a month. They're coming up, if some of them just have Social Security, they come up with maybe 200 of it, and then the taxpayer picks up the other. And then they come up and say, well, we're taxpayers. Then they'll say, okay, this is your bill. So then you're looking at your taxes for the end of the year for the house that you own, that you're still living in. As an elderly, because you're on fixed income, the bill comes in, say, wait a minute, that's another $100 a month I got to
Yeah.
come up with.
That's what it is.
How am I going to be able to deal with this? Then you start, okay, well, I'll adjust this now. And in fact, the biggest thing is that I'll adjust my cable bill. Well, that cable bill is like a human being. It's almost like, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
only a couple dollars.
No,
too.
but understand what I'm saying. But yes, but still, it gets down to the point.
Oh, no.
You don't have that couple of dollars. You know what I'm saying? You're still
I-
paying that $100 and some dollars.
I was referring to the franchise.
Oh, the
fee.
franchise.
No, we're talking. The cable bill is right up there.
You understand what I'm saying? And they don't make any compensation. The cable company doesn't say, well, if you're a senior citizen, what we'll do, we'll give you a break.
Okay.
You got me? No, they said, no, it's the same price.
Yeah, probably
You
is.
see what I mean? And I've been going through the same price with reference to trying to get corporations and whatever to give vets a break and seniors a break. Got me?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
they trust me. They want the money. Now, in some cases, the vets might get a better deal, if you will, and then and then sometimes seniors might get it for ARP. They'll give you a little break on the ARP aspect of it, but realistically, it should be across the board.
Okay.
See, the county should give you a break. I mean, rather, see, when we went to that school bond issue aspect of it, and, as far as I'm concerned, all seniors up to a certain age with a home should have been exempt. Just straight out.
Okay.
Don't even think about trying to figure out.
Let the people
How
that
they-
voted for it.
That's
pay.
right. Yeah. See what I'm saying?
Okay.
Or the people with the kids.
Okay.
And I'm not knocking. I'm
They
not
have
knocking
good jobs.
Yes, yes.
All that.
I think that was a mistake when we went out there and passed that bond the school district.
The second one.
Oh my God, it's insulting. It was insulting. You know, but you know, hey, they did whatever's necessary, and the majority of the people, a lot of times, they don't look at the politics of this stuff. You got me?
Okay.
They're looking at the game shows and things of that nature, right?
Okay.
And some slick ad comes into the house on voting day, and you know you
They
look
do,
at-
yes.
You see me? It's like a lot of folks can't even understand what they're talking about. A lot of them, you know, just put that in the trash can. I don't need that kind of stuff, until all of a sudden the bill comes in. The taxes, you know what I mean? The house tax, you know what I mean?
Right.
It
What are we
comes in.
paying for?
What am I? I didn't ask for that. Well, sir, you voted for it.
That's right.
What do you mean I voted? I didn't vote for that deal. Well, the majority of people went, and they got it passed. And well, how am I going to be paying this $100 a month more? How long am I going to pay? That's for 10 years. And then the
That's
next
right.
year, and then the next
right.
bond, another one comes up.
That's right.
We just passed another one for the community college thing.
I haven't known how that went, so I'm glad you're
It
telling
passed.
me. And you're telling everybody else.
Yes,
well,
it
that's good.
passed. And guess what? Start looking when the bill comes in.
The bill.
The
That's
bill.
Right. That's
When the bill comes
so
in.
that's
right?
3 bond things.
That's right.
Stacked
That's right.
up
That's
on
right. That's
everybody's
right. That's right. That's right.
Taxes.
That's right. That's right. And you know, and seniors, really, in all due respect, they're pretty well on major fixed income.
Yeah.
Major fixed income.
Okay.
When they went about 70 up in that area,
They're up.
They're up there,
that
and they
much.
got that, and they can't afford to. They've already paid for the home. Thought they got. In some cases, they've done the reverse mortgage. Then that's another little slick gimmick. They take the reverse mortgage, get the money, got me, to pay the bills, right? Then after a while, let's say one of you is gone or whatever, and then the other person is gone. It's gone.
I think it's reverse mortgage is not a good thing.
No,
if
it's
you can
not.
possibly
It's
avoid
terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. But my point, that's home ownership, see, because you worked hard to get it. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And the only reason why you got in that particular area, because them bills keep coming in. And I'm just saying, I think in our society, I think we're in a position to say, okay, fine, let's exempt this person that's 70 years old, whatever that high end of it. I'm not talking about the 50 or 40 area or whatever. I mean, people are living longer, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Because of medication, right? So do it at
Right.
70,
People
70,
forget
75.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Even our conversation this last hour with Joe,
Right.
we didn't cover. People are living longer.
That's right.
And it really makes a difference.
That's right. It makes a difference.
They're not living to just 32 years
No,
old.
That's
like they
right.
used
That's right. That's right. And everybody's on that dole aspect of it. So that's that part of it. And I hope that in this election, the voters will ask these people those questions.
Okay.
You know, you're running for office, and what do you think are the issues?
Right.
And
What, do you have time to read all that?
Oh yeah, now here's the other situation right here with reference to getting out the vet. You know, we always talk about the vet aspect of it. And
veterans are what we're talking about.
Right, and in all due respect, the vets, we're still in kind of the vet week aspect of it.
Oh, yes.
Veterans Day is this next Monday.
Today is the 8th.
Today is the 8th.
So it's going to show
10th
on the 12th.
The 12th, right. That's a Monday. Okay, right.
But right now.
But right now, there's going to be all kinds of festivities, this weekend aspect of it. And many businesses are saying, and they're opening up their doors. You can eat breakfast that didn't cost, in some cases, it doesn't cost you anything. And in some cases, it costs you a very small amount aspect of it. And if you want to get your car washed, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of goodies, if you will.
Okay.
And I'll throw something out just as a sidebar. Or if you went to Oregon Voters Digest, I had all this stuff printed
Right.
on the last show. So a person
okay.
can go there on YouTube, go Oregon Voters Digest, and all these events are on the
Oh, is
show.
that all
Yeah, they're
there?
all printed out on the
Oh,
show.
okay,
But we're gonna read some of the ones that are here now,
Right.
now. Okay.
I
We got a Portland Veterans Day parade. That's Saturday. That's this Saturday. Okay, these are all on Saturday. 43rd annual parade along Northeast Sandy Boulevard. That's a biggie.
And you're in.
Yep, I'm in it. I'm working with the VFW.
Oh.
Basically giving poppies out on the side and
Oh, okay.
collecting a couple of bucks for the VFW, because as you know, they're the ones that fills out the paperwork. They got the contract with the VA
Okay.
to fill out the benefit contracts for whatever
Okay.
benefits for vets. But it's kind of a neat deal if you're military, and it's not that much, but it's a good place for vets to go and join and go to the monthly meetings and meet other vets. You know what I mean? They have
Okay.
potluck and stuff like that. It's kind of a neat deal. isn't it?
Okay.
But that's the parade. Okay, Fort Vancouver. That's right across the bridge here. And it's on Saturday, 31st Annual Veterans Day Parade at Fort Vancouver. 10 o'clock ceremony. Parade is at 11. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Then a race to remember, Veterans Day Race 2017, Fort Vancouver National Park. Race to Remember is a military nonprofit found in Vancouver, Washington. Okay, by Carter Cartier after losing his fiancée. Okay, well, okay, good. You got that piece. Okay. Harvest Gold, Neil Young trip, free concert admission. Old Liberty Theater, Richfield, Washington. That's way out in Richfield. Okay. A tribute to Neil Young with opening performance by Billy Wolf, a tribute to Bob Dylan. Tickets are available at eventbrite.com. Well, I guess they're going to charge you a little bit for that piece.
Okay.
Okay. We got that part. Attractions. You got Big Al's. Free bowling to all veterans and active military at our Beaverton and Vancouver locations. Friday through Monday. This Friday through Monday. Big Al's. Okay. So what you can do, you can look it up. You can Google the name and find out what location. Location in both Beaverton and Vancouver locations.
Okay.
Okay, for free bowling. Free admission for military veterans and their families at the zoo, the Oregon Zoo.
Okay.
Discount in the store and food outlets, okay? That's Friday and Saturday. Friday through Saturday. Okay, the National Park, U.S. National Parks. Veterans Day weekend, the National Park Service invites all visitors to remember our veterans by visiting any National Park Service site for free on Veterans Day, okay? So basically, if you visit, whether you're a veteran or not, you can go there for free. It doesn't cost you
Okay.
anything, okay? Okay, that's all
Okay.
good stuff there, okay. Hospitality, that's another good stuff right there. We got B&B for vets, bed and breakfast. The bed and breakfast, they got a lot of those folks open.
Oh.
So if you call up all the beds, and I'll put it this way, call up all the bed and breakfast in your area, and they'll give you either a free night. They said in this particular case, it's Medford Nationwide as B&B for vets, a bed and breakfast. Free night stay at participating bed and breakfast locations. This program is started by Kathleen Park, West Virginia. 2000 was a program. Okay. The innkeepers appreciation of the vets, they say, will offer a minimum of one room for one night and total free. Okay, that means you eat too, see? Got me?
Okay.
Okay, most innkeepers gave free rooms away on Thursday, November the 10th. Okay, and so veterans could take up and enjoy Veterans Day activities on November the 11th. Some innkeepers may offer more free nights. This will be noted in their descriptions. So call up bed and breakfast in the area, and if they may, you just ask them whether or not they do it for Veterans Day, and that's for the whole weekend. That's basically one day, but you never. Okay, Veterans Appreciation Reception, Thursday, November the 9th. Free appetizers, beer, wine, tasting, and a prize drawing. Join us as we recognize those bravely served our country, showing freedom for all.
Tomorrow night.
No, that's it. Oxford Suite. That's our deal we're talking about. Oxford Suite, right there at Jansen Beach.
Okay.
Okay, 3:30 to 7. Very interesting. You may call because they've already got 30 people there. You might want to call. Oxford Suite at Jansen Beach. Give them a call. But it's really a neat affair. I just happen to be the MC. How about that?
Okay. That's good.
And it's kind of neat, too, because they have all kinds of goodies and whatever. You can bring the family and whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat little deal, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And then I will be asking veterans to stand up and introduce themselves. And if they want to say a couple things about themselves, that's cool. You got me? Okay, then you got the restaurants. Now, that's the biggie. Here, the restaurant. These are all freebies, by the way. Free lunch or dinner for a special menu with 10 choices. That's McCormick and Schmidt. Sunday, November the 5th. Oh, wow. That's gone, isn't it?
That's gone.
That's gone. So,
Oh.
wow, that was a nice piece there.
Okay.
You know, and in Chipotle, that was Tuesday. That's gone. Okay, let's go to Denny's. Free bill your own Grand Slam, 5 a.m. to noon, Friday, November the 10th. Friday, okay?
That's Friday. Oh.
This Friday.
Okay.
Denny's, bill your own Grand Slam, free.
Okay.
All vets. If you got a DD-214 or some identifying piece that you have, okay? IHOP, free red, white, and blue pancakes from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. See, I think Jim gave us that today. You know, our producer in the deal there. You go to his house. IHOP. Is that what you call it, Jim? IHOP? Is that yours? I think that is.
It's I jump.
Oh, I jump. Okay. Okay, I jump. Only Friday though, from 7 to 7, and that's as 7 a.m. to the following morning of 7 a.m. Okay. Cool.
Oh.
That's 24/7. Jim's just, he's a very generous guy. That's what I like about him.
That's why I work on the show.
See that? See that? Okay, Applebee's. Free entree from their signature menu of 7 different choices. Applebee's.
I like
Now,
that one.
That's a very popular place.
Oh, yeah.
Applebee's.
I know.
Okay.
That's a good
And
place.
that's Saturday, November the 11th. So I would suggest that you get there early. And by the way, they've served over 8.3 million meals. Wow.
Okay.
To all who served. Isn't that something?
Oh, wow.
And that's Saturday the 11th. And you know, but Applebee's, it's nice. It's a nice piece. That's a good one.
Okay.
That's a free one. Okay.
First we knew about it.
Okay, free one. Okay, you got that?
Right.
Applebee's. That's all day too, I think. Yeah, all day. That's a good one. California Pizza Kitchen, Saturday, November the 11th, honoring members of the U.S. military, both past and present, with a free entree from a special Veterans Day menu. Menu includes 6 different pizza options, 4 full-size salad choices, and 3 different pasta dishes. That's not bad. California Pizza Kitchen. Okay. Little Caesars Pizza. You've heard of them? That's a Saturday
Yes,
on the
I
11th.
know where they are.
Free $5 hot and ready lunch combo during lunch, 11 to 2 p.m. only. Only 11 to 2 p.m. only Saturday.
Okay.
Okay, but you get a free $5 hot and ready lunch combo during lunch. So it's kind of like a free meal, but you only get a 5. If you want anything beyond that, it's gonna cost you money.
Okay.
All right. Famous Dave's. I mean, anybody Famous Dave's? Free 2 meat salute served with a cornbread muffin and your choice of a side. Okay?
Okay.
Georgia chopped pork chop, country roasted chicken, barbecue chicken, Sweetwater catfish fingers, traditional wings, boneless wing, Southside rib tips, chicken tenders, Texas beef. They say that's a good one.
Okay.
Okay, but you get one of these choices. Free 2 meal salute served. That's Saturday, November the 11th. Okay. Outback Steakhouse. How about that one?
Okay.
Free blooming onion and beverage. How about that?
Okay.
That's on the 11th. And 15% off their check for military veterans families. Let's see, small print, and send the rest of the bill to Jim. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it right. We got it right. Did he say anything on that one?
No, he didn't say a thing.
Oh, he didn't say anything on that one. Okay, all right. We got to make sure we remind him. Don't go to Jim on that one. Okay. The Red Lobster, free appetizer or dessert from a special menu. That's on the 11th.
Yeah.
Red Lobster, free appetizer
Okay.
or dessert from a special menu. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Red Robin, free Red's Tavern Double Burger with bottomless steak fries. Wow. That sounds pretty good. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Village Inn. That's it. That's right here in Portland.
Yeah. We know where those are.
Free incredible VIB breakfast. What's a VIB breakfast?
Very important.
Okay. Very important bacon or something like that?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Otherwise, just ask Jim. He got it all. He'll give it. BJ's Restaurant. I've got one. I know he got one in Jansen B, but all BJ's Restaurant. Starting Friday through Saturday. Okay. All veterans of active military can enjoy a free entree under $12.95. Sounds pretty good.
Wow.
Under $12.95. We will have all the information posted in the comment section to our YouTube page. Okay? Okay, got that. Now here's some other little goodies here. Great Clips. What's that? Receive
Haircut.
Yeah, good. A free haircut that day, or a free haircut card to use another day.
Oh.
So you can just stop by and get you one.
Okay.
For non-veteran customers, purchase a service on Veterans Day and get a free haircut card to give to a veteran. You know, wow, isn't that something? Purchase a service on Veterans Day. So if you go down and get your caution, you can get a free card and give it to a veteran.
Okay.
See, Jim will pick those up every day of the week, no problem. Sport Clips, haircuts for heroes, free haircut.
Okay.
Saturday, November the 11th. Washman, okay, free car wash
Okay.
at Washman, okay. Caddy car wash, free car wash on Saturday. Okay.
Katie, yeah.
Echo, yes, Eco car wash, free car wash.
I know where they
You
are.
know where they are, right? Beaverton car wash, Beaverton, free car wash. Okay.
Okay.
Meineke, 45% off of any service, October 14th to November 24th. So they're doing it now. That's
Okay.
quite a way. That's almost 50% off. That's
Okay.
not a bad. That's a mighty deal. So you got a muffler off or something like that. That's quite a deal there. We just realized. That's pretty neat, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a lot of research there.
Good.
Took finding out all that.
Yes, it was. You got that piece there. So like I said, let's see. When's our next show? That's it. It won't be the weekend. will it?
December.
No, I'm just saying that. What's the repeat on the show? What's the next?
This one is this Sunday.
This Sunday.
In other words, it's not in time for the 11th.
Yeah, that's
'cause
right.
It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
12th.
That's right. Yeah, can't do that.
They got to go by what you told them tonight.
Do the OVD, Oregon Voters Digest, and you go down. It's on YouTube.
Oh, that's right.
And you can
You're
get the
gonna-
listing, the same listing that I did there, and you'll get the location and stuff
Wait
all
a
over
minute.
again.
You've already, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can do that. See, at least they got it tonight. They
Okay.
can get it tonight. Okay, good. So look, that was it. That looked pretty good to me.
Yeah.
And and hey, and as one must say, like I've always said, go out there and get your benefits, your medical benefits and whatever. And in fact, if you're homeless, and if your family or somebody is homeless, call up the VA. They may have a bed for you
Yeah,
because they're in the business.
that's
You know what I
right.
mean? And also for jobs, finding jobs and things. There's all kinds of services that in all due respect that are available for vets and their families. Wives can get paid, and this kind of thing. All kind of good. So call the VA if you're a vet and you got problems. If you know someone that has mental illness or something like that, who's a vet, call up the VA. Or in some cases, you can even call Multnomah County. They have services too. The same thing for vets. Okay. All right.
They just need to be encouraged.
They got to be encouraged.
To do it.
Motivated to
They
do it.
just-
Just go down there and do it. Okay. Don't take the no for an answer. Okay. But the bottom line is that it's there for us.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
And that's a
A
very
lot of help available at the
very,
veterans.
very much so. And Multnomah County Veterans Services, you give them a call at 503-988-VETS.
Oh,
503-988-VETS.
I can remember
That's
that.
VETS. Isn't that neat? Yeah, Veterans Services, okay? Or if not that, you can go to the website at veteran.services@multco.us, Multnomah County. veteran.services@multco.us. Okay?
Okay.
That's that piece. But they got quite a service there. And in fact, I'm even partnering with them. I'm going to be a partner to do the outreach and for some of the stuff that they do.
Okay.
Basically, we'll be marketing. Got me? We'll be marketing. Hopefully, we can do the same thing here, and put that information on the screen.
Okay.
Okay, for them. We'll get that. Put that together. Aspect of it. And let's see. We did all of that stuff. And I guess the other big thing here locally is that Multnomah County is going to be. Well, they're going to be. They made the decision about Wapato.
Oh,
They're
I
going to be
thought
voting on that tomorrow.
Oh, they haven't sold
They
it. for
found
sure?
right now they found a buyer, if you
Yeah.
will, and they made it. And so they made a decision, but they have to present it to the public. So if you want to go and see the deal, you can, and hear the deal and participate in the deal. You go down to Multnomah County, and they have their meetings at 9. Starts at 9:30.
Sure
9:30
has been a
tomorrow morning.
losing
It
proposition.
really has been. You know what I mean? Started out, this thing was something like, it was built for $54 million in all these years, and then now all of a sudden we got over $100 million in this thing,
That's right.
and I guess they're looking at selling it. I didn't see the numbers. They're going to talk about that tomorrow, but it's going to probably be between $8,000 and $10,000. And the next thing you know, we still have a bond that we're being paid. We
Yeah.
got to pay for it. We
Right.
will be paying for that, and it's gone. Isn't that something?
Right.
But at least it'd be on the tax roll. So
Well-
if you want to go down there, go down to Multnomah County. I'll call them and they'll tell you exactly
Well-
what the time is.
You had a good show
That was
today.
good.
I
I really
appreciate all
appreciate
the
that.
information
Yep, thank you,
you
buddy.
supplied us with here.
Thank you, sir.
And especially want to thank our crew.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Doing everything
Good.
to make this thing work out. Includes our call-in,
Yes.
which is always
yes.
difficult.
Oh, it is, very much.
But it worked.
Yeah, he does a good job. He does a good job. And then especially all that information about where you can go and eat. See, that's the other thing.
I'm still hungry.
Oh, yeah, see that? See,
Yeah.
he got that Dennis. I hope Dennis got some food left after Jim left. He enjoyed
Well.
himself.
You didn't bring any food, Richard. I'm still hungry.
Well, it's been good, folks. So let's see. Have a good one.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll be seeing them up in December, right, buddy?
That December 2nd Wednesday.
Second Wednesday.